Hello and welcome to another Manga Spotlight. This is when I got to remote class. I had to move in with the most beautiful girl in my class by Milhagi, Senya, and Jaguchi. And as you can probably guess by that long name, this is a adaptation of a web novel. It's not an isekai. Isekais aren't the only ones with really long names, but yeah, it is based off of a web novel by Senya, and Jaguchi is the one that's doing the artwork for this manga adaptation. And the basic premise is this. High school student Kanata Yoshino, who is at his wit's end, meets Haruka Hoshikawa, the most beautiful girl of his class, who is waving her smartphone alone in a park in the middle of the night. She's bad with machines, and doesn't know how to connect to the internet, and asks him to help. He ends up visiting her house, but later does he know she has a secret purpose. The sweet and romantic cohabitation love comedy begins with the skilled invitation of the young lady. So yeah, basically we start off this series with Yoshino and Hoshikawa doing remote class. For anyone who hasn't heard of that phrase before, if anyone remembers the lockdowns a couple years ago and you had to do classes online, do like video calls and stuff, that's basically what this is. And so we start off with the two of them having a remote class, and as they're trying to do their class, Hoshikawa keeps touching Yoshino's thigh and basically kind of trying to flirt with him. And he's trying to not let it be known because he's on video call with his class. And he kind of introduces who this woman is. This is Hoshikawa. She is from a prestigious family, so she's like, the whole like rich type. And she's the class's top beauty. Everybody knows her. Everybody loves her. She's the most popular girl in the high school, and everyone flocks to her. And he is basically a mob character. He's just someone that kind of sticks to the shadows, doesn't really deal with other people, doesn't really have that many friends. And he's kind of wondering how the hell he ended up in this situation where he's living with this girl and sharing remote classes with her. And that's when we kind of get a flashback where 3 days ago there was a outbreak. I believe it's the Koof, and there was an infected person in the dormitory for the boys and the girls. And so because of that, they had to disinfect the area, they had to shut the entire dorms down, and there's no way for Yoshino to get in. He was too busy in his computer club that by the time he showed up to the dormitory, they've already shut it down. So he can't get in to grab his gears and grab his items and stuff like that. And he's like, well, okay, I can't stay at the dorm, so I'm going to call my parents. And so he calls his parents, and his parents freak out. They're like, you can't come. Like, we're scared of getting infected. Do not come back home. So he's like, okay, well, I can't go back home. So he calls the few friends he has, if he can stay with them, and they all shoot him down. Like, no, you can't come stay with us because we're scared of getting infected too. So he's like, well, I don't have much money, so I can't stay at a cafe. I can't stay at a hotel. I guess I'm just going to have to sleep on the park bench outside. And that's going to be his home for now until the dormitory gets disinfected. But as he's laying down on the bench, he looks and he sees Hoshikawa. Hoshikawa notices him, and she pulls out her phone and she starts just waving it around in the air. And she's talking to herself out loud. She says, what should I do? I'm in trouble. I can't catch any Wi-Fi signal. And he kind of notices her and he's like, hey, sorry, I must have startled you. Are you okay? And she looks at him. She's like, oh, you must be Yoshino-kun. You're wearing a mask and it's dark, so I couldn't tell, but you're the same Yoshino from my class, right? He's like, yeah. She's like, oh, what are you doing out here? It's already kind of dark. And he just tells her, yeah, I'm thinking of sleeping outside. I live in the student dormitory. She's like, I know. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, I've seen you coming out. He's like, ah, okay. Well, there's an infected person there, so it's closed down and I got nowhere to go. My family doesn't want me to come back because they're scared of getting infected. So what are you doing out here? And Hoshikawa says, I'm trying to catch a Wi-Fi signal. Like, I heard that without Wi-Fi, we won't be able to attend classes starting next week. So I thought I'd catch it and bring it home. So yeah, she seems very dim and dumb. She believes that she can take her phone, go out to the park, and then catch Wi-Fi signals, and then bring them back to her home so that she can have classes next week online. And Yoshino's like, that's not how it works. Like, the public Wi-Fi in this park can only be used here. But if you have an internet network at home, you can set up a remote environment. And he starts like questioning her, like, hey, do you have an internet network at home? Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have any of this stuff? She's like, I don't know. He's like, well, you're smart. I'm sure you can figure it out on your own. She says, no, I'm really bad at machines. You're in the computer club, right? Can you come into my house and teach me how to use the computer? He's like, well, okay, I guess. So he goes to her apartment where she lives by herself, and it's really freaking nice apartment. It's freaking amazing. Like everything's state of the art. She has like 2 stories in this apartment loft. It's awesome, actually. But yeah, she explains, I live alone, so I'm living away from my family. Anyways, here's like my bedroom. Here's my computer stuff. Can you set this up for me? And he's like, sure, okay. I'll touch it for a bit. And she takes that the wrong way. She believes that he's hitting on her. He's like, it's okay if I touch it, right? And she's like, yeah. And she closes her eyes, and he just walks right past her and starts messing with her computer. And he starts it up, and he gets it going. He's like, there you go. You're all set up. You're going to be able to take your classes next week. You're good to go. And he's about to leave when she's like, where are you going? He's like, well, I'm going back to the park. She's like, no, you can't do that. You're going to get sick. I live alone. There's a spare room next door. How about you stay here with me until the dormitories open up? He's like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't want to overstay my welcome or anything like that. I don't want to put you out in any way. She's like, I'm really bad with machines and I can't do anything besides Wi-Fi. So how about you stay here and you can help me with the computers and all the other machines that I have? Because it's not just the computer. I also have laundry and just other smart technology that I don't know how to use, but you're very smart and you know how to use it. So you help me with my machines, and in return, you can stay here for free until the dormitories open up. He's like, well, okay, I guess I can do that. She's very happy and stuff. And she's like, I'll be counting on you from now on. And then what it turns out is that she is lying. And she is happy that Yoshino doesn't notice that she's lying because she's very, very bad at lying. And so she goes to her room. She's like, oh, thank God he didn't find out. Now I can live with Yoshino-kun from now on. And it turns out that she's very smart. Obviously, I mentioned that earlier. And it's not like she's very smart and she's just done with machines and technology. She's actually very smart with machines and technology as well. She's just pretending to be dumb so that he will stay here because she has a huge crush on him. And we see like a flashback where a year ago, she was outside her apartment. She's been away from her family for the first time. This is the first time she's been on her own. And this is like her first day. And her phone's not able to connect. And she has no idea what to do. And Yoshino walks by and she stops him and asks for help. And he happily helps her out and tells her, hey, like, if you ever need any help, please feel free to ask me. And ever since then, she's developed a crush and she's fallen in love with him. And she's noticed that he's very reserved and calm and he kind of sticks to the shadows and stuff. He's like the background character. He doesn't really talk to anybody. So she doesn't know how to approach him. But she's always just constantly daydreaming about him and stuff. And when she noticed that he was sleeping out on the park bench and that the dormitory was closed, she knew, okay, he's got nowhere to go. So this is my chance to make some moves on him. I'll pretend to be stupid and not know how to use machines. I'll ask him for help. He'll come in and help me. And then I'll use that to get him to stay here so we can get closer. And yeah, the plan's starting to work. And I kind of like this because a lot of times with these romances, you'll either have characters that obviously have crushes on each other but don't do anything about it for the longest time. Or you'll have maybe someone having a crush on a girl, but then the girl has no idea that she has a crush. But here we have flip side of it where we have this girl and she has a crush on Yoshino. She's not trying to hide that in any way. And she's the one that's actually trying to break him down in the sense that she's trying to get through his walls and things. Like it's not that he doesn't have any feelings for her. It's just that he mistakes her like flirtatiousness and stuff like that as just kindness. He's one of those, well, he's a typical guy. You basically got to hit them over the head that you have feelings for them, right? So she's the one that's pursuing him. And she basically has set this whole plan up. And throughout the chapters, as we keep going with them, she's the one that's constantly flirting with him. She's the one that's kind of trying to push boundaries and just get closer and closer to him. And this is kind of like a nice change where the roles are reversed. But yeah, this is pretty much a sweet, fluffy, romantic comedy slice of life. There's no drama. There's no NTR that you got to worry about. There's no third wheel. There's no love triangles. There's nothing like that. It's basically Yoshino and Hoshikawa are stuck living together because of the Koof, and Hoshikawa is trying to use that time to get as close to her crush as she can and hopefully get him to fall in love with her. And yeah, it's just a sugary, sweet little series, and I highly recommend checking it out. So I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can read it for yourself. But yeah, that's when I got to remote class. I had to move in with the most beautiful girl in my class. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.